Sometimes the most dangerous fights happen when nobody's watching. The streets of New York are buzzing with rumors. Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis have been trading words for months, but tonight something snaps. It's past midnight when they cross paths outside a downtown club. No cameras rolling, no promoters counting money, just two heavyweight champions and years of bad blood boiling over. The crowd forms a circle under the streetlights. Someone shouts for them to settle it right here, right now. Security tries to step in, but these aren't arena guards. They're just regular guys who know better than to get between two angry giants. Tyson strips off his jacket. Lewis rolls up his sleeves. The pavement becomes their canvas. No gloves, no referee, no rules except survival. What happens when two of the world's most dangerous men decide to fight with nothing but their fists and their pride? Look, I need to tell you how we got here. Because this wasn't some random street encounter. This was months of pressure building up like a steam engine ready to explode. It started back in February at a press conference in London. Lewis had just signed the biggest contract in heavyweight history. Tyson was sitting in the audience, and when the reporters asked about potential opponents, Lewis looked straight at him and said, "Mike's time is over. He knows it. I know it. The whole world knows it." Now here's the thing about Mike Tyson. You can hit him, you can knock him down, but you never ever question his relevance. That's the one line you don't cross. Fast forward to this Tuesday night. Lewis is in New York for a magazine shoot. Tyson's been training at Gleason's gym all week, working out his frustrations on heavy bags and sparring partners who can barely keep up. They both end up at the same club. Pure coincidence. Or maybe the boxing gods decided it was time. Lewis walks out first around midnight. His entourage follows, laughing about something, probably still riding high from the photo shoot. Then Tyson emerges 30 seconds later. He's alone, always alone these days. The two groups stop dead when they see each other. The street's not empty. There are maybe 40 people scattered around. Club security, valets, late-night partiers waiting for cabs. But everyone goes quiet when they realize what they're witnessing. Lewis is wearing his championship ring. It catches the streetlight like a beacon. That ring represents everything. Money, fame, the crown that Tyson believes should still be his. "Well, well," Lewis says, his British accent cutting through the night air. "Look what the cat dragged in." Tyson doesn't respond immediately. He's studying Lewis like he used to study opponents before fights, looking for weaknesses, looking for openings. The crowd starts to form without anyone organizing it. Human nature, I guess. When two apex predators face off, people want to witness history. Club security tries to step between them, but these aren't trained professionals. They're college kids working part-time jobs. One of them, maybe 20 years old, puts his hand up toward Tyson and says, "Hey guys, let's keep it cool." Tyson looks at this kid like he just suggested they solve their differences with a game of checkers. "Son," Tyson says, his voice barely above a whisper, "you need to step back now." The kid's smart enough to listen. Lewis chuckles. "Still intimidating children, Mike? Very impressive." And that's when the civility dies. That's when two grown men, both millionaires, both legends, decide to settle their differences like they're back in the neighborhood where respect is earned with blood and pain. "You want to do this?" Tyson asks. "Been waiting for this moment for years," Lewis replies. The circle widens. Someone pulls out their phone, but the lighting's too dim for decent video. This isn't going to be captured for posterity. This is going to be remembered only by the 40 people lucky enough to witness it. Both men start removing their outer clothing. Lewis slides off his expensive blazer and hands it to one of his guys. Tyson's wearing just a t-shirt and jeans. He pulls the shirt over his head, revealing the same compact, muscular frame that terrorized heavyweight division for years. The stakes are clear now. This isn't about money or contracts or promotional deals. This is about something deeper. Legacy, respect. The kind of respect you can't buy or negotiate. The kind that only comes when two warriors test each other with nothing held back. The first punch comes from Lewis, a straight right hand that catches Tyson flush on the jaw. The sound echoes off the building walls like a gunshot. The crowd gasps collectively, because everyone expected Tyson to throw first. Everyone expected the famous Tyson explosion right out of the gate. But Lewis surprises everyone, including Tyson. Believe me, that punch would have dropped most men. Lewis has 8 inches of reach and 50 pounds on most heavyweights. But Tyson's not most men. His head snaps back, he stumbles half a step, then something incredible happens. He smiles. Not a friendly smile. The kind of smile a predator makes when it realizes the prey just showed its teeth. "Thank you," Tyson says, touching his jaw. "Now I don't have to hold back. What happens next is 20 seconds of pure violence. Tyson explodes forward with a combination that starts low and works its way up. Body shot, uppercut. Lewis covers up, but Tyson's angle is all wrong for defensive boxing. He's not fighting like a boxer anymore. He's fighting like a street brawler who learned technique later in life. The uppercut connects clean. Lewis's head snaps back and he stumbles into a parked car. The hood dents under his weight. Someone in the crowd screams. A woman, probably Lewis's publicist, tries to call 911, but her hands are shaking too badly to dial. Now here's what you need to understand about street fighting versus ring fighting. In the ring, when a man gets hurt, he has 16 square feet to move around and recover. On the street, there's nowhere to run. The car becomes part of the fight. Lewis pushes off the hood and throws a wild hook that misses Tyson's head by inches, but the force of the swing leaves him off balance. Tyson sees the opening and fires a straight left that catches Lewis in the ribs. You can hear the impact from 20 feet away. A sound like someone dropping a heavy book on concrete. Lewis doubles over, gasping. But he's a champion for a reason. Even hurt, even out of his element, his instincts kick in. He clinches, grabs Tyson around the waist, and uses his size advantage to push him backward. They're wrestling now, not boxing. Tyson's trying to create space to throw punches. Lewis is trying to use his 70-pound weight advantage to control the distance. They crash into a streetlight pole. The metal vibrates like a tuning fork. This is where the fight changes, where it becomes something neither man expected. The streetlight flickers and goes out. Now they're fighting in the dim glow of neon signs and car headlights. Shadows dancing across the pavement. The crowd has spread out into a larger circle, some people backing all the way across the street for safety. Tyson breaks the clinch with a short elbow to Lewis's ribs. Nothing illegal about elbows when there's no referee. Lewis responds with a knee that catches Tyson in the thigh. These aren't boxing techniques anymore. This is everything they learned on the streets before they learned to fight for money. Blood appears on Tyson's cheek, not from a punch, but from where his face scraped against Lewis's shoulder during the clinch. The taste of his own blood does something to Tyson, something primal. His pupils dilate. His breathing changes. Lewis sees it too, the transformation. He's fought Tyson in sparring sessions years ago, back when they were both young and hungry. He's seen this look before. This is the Mike Tyson who bit Evander Holyfield's ear. The Mike Tyson who once said he wanted to eat his opponent's children. "Now you see me," Tyson whispers, blood trickling down his chin. Lewis throws another right hand, harder this time. It connects with Tyson's temple. Any normal person would be unconscious. Tyson takes the punch and immediately fires back with a hook that catches Lewis below the left eye. The skin splits instantly. Lewis's own blood starts flowing. Both men step back for a moment, breathing hard. They're 30 feet from where they started, having fought their way down half the block. Lewis's expensive shirt is torn. Tyson's jeans have a rip at the knee from when they hit the pavement. The crowd is completely silent now. Even the traffic seems to have stopped. Like the whole city is holding its breath to see what happens next. Because this isn't entertainment anymore. This isn't two athletes competing for a prize. This is two alphas fighting for something that can't be measured in dollars or trophies. This is about who deserves to call themselves the most dangerous man alive. The fight spills into the street when Lewis charges forward like a linebacker. Forget boxing technique. Forget everything they learned in their professional careers. This is raw, desperate combat. A taxi has to swerve to avoid them. The driver lays on his horn, but neither fighter notices. They're locked together again, this time with Lewis driving Tyson backward toward the opposite curb. Tyson's feet tangle up, and they both go down hard on the asphalt. Now we've got a ground fight. Lewis lands on top trying to use his weight advantage, but Tyson's been in street fights before Lewis even knew what boxing was. He gets his knee up between them and uses Lewis's own momentum to flip their positions. The crowd scatters. What started as a circle of spectators becomes chaos as people realize this thing isn't stopping. Someone calls it in to the police. I can hear sirens in the distance, but they're still blocks away. Tyson throws a short punch from the mounted position. It doesn't travel more than 6 inches, but it catches Lewis right on the point of the chin. Lewis's eyes roll back for half a second. He's hurt bad. But champions don't quit. Lewis wraps his arms around Tyson's waist and rolls them both over. Now they're against a parked van, wrestling for position like they're back in high school. Except high school wrestlers don't throw punches to the kidneys. Lewis gets to his feet first, and Tyson follows. Both men are bleeding now. Lewis has a cut above his left eye that's dripping steadily. Tyson's got blood from his nose and a scrape on his forehead. Their expensive clothes are ruined. Lewis's watch is cracked. The crystal face caught an elbow during the ground exchange. "You done?" Lewis gasps, wiping blood from his eye. "Just getting started," Tyson replies, but his breathing is labored too. Here's the thing about fighting in the streets versus fighting in a ring. In the ring, you've got 3 minutes to work, then a minute to rest. On the street, the fight ends when someone can't continue or when external forces intervene, and those sirens are getting closer. Lewis feints with his left and throws an overhand right that grazes Tyson's skull. Tyson slips most of it, but the punch still snaps his head to the side. He counters with an uppercut that misses by millimeters. Lewis feels the wind from it brush his chin. They're both operating on instinct now. Muscle memory from thousands of hours of training, but filtered through adrenaline and exhaustion and the knowledge that there are no rules to protect them. A broken cell phone lies in pieces on the asphalt between them. Someone tried to record the fight but dropped their phone when the action moved in their direction. The screen is spider-webbed, reflecting the neon light from a 24-hour diner across the street. The owner of that phone, a young guy in a Yankees cap, is pressed against a building wall watching two legends destroy each other. He'll remember this night for the rest of his life, but he'll never have proof it happened. Tyson rushes forward with a series of body shots. Left hook to the liver, right hand to the solar plexus, another left hook to the floating ribs. Lewis covers up, but he's not covering up like a boxer. He's covering up like a man trying to survive. The body shots slow Lewis down. His hand speed decreases. His footwork becomes sluggish. Tyson senses the shift and presses his advantage. He throws a right hand that Lewis partially blocks with his forearm, but the force of it sends Lewis stumbling backward. Lewis's back hits a fire hydrant. The impact drives all the air from his lungs. For a moment, he's completely vulnerable. Tyson has a clean shot at his chin, a shot that would end this fight and probably send Lewis to the hospital. Instead, something unexpected happens. Tyson hesitates. For just a split second, he sees something in Lewis's eyes. Not fear, not defeat, respect. The kind of respect one warrior gives another when they both realize they've pushed each other to the absolute limit. That hesitation costs him. Lewis explodes off the fire hydrant with an uppercut that travels from his shoelaces to Tyson's chin. The punch lands flush. Clean, perfect technique despite everything that's happened. Tyson's knees buckle. For the first time in the fight, he looks like he might go down. The crowd, what's left of it, gasps, because nobody expects to see Mike Tyson hurt like this. But Tyson doesn't fall. He takes 2 steps backward, shakes his head clear, and looks at Lewis with something approaching admiration. "Good shot," he says, spitting blood onto the pavement. "Been working on that one for years," Lewis replies, and in that moment everything changes. The sirens are 2 blocks away now. Both men can hear them clearly. They've got maybe 60 seconds before this gets broken up by people with badges and handcuffs. What happens next will be remembered by everyone who witnessed it. Not because of the violence, but because of what it revealed about both men. Lewis throws everything he has left into one final combination. A jab to set up range, a straight right hand that Tyson slips, and a left hook that catches him flush on the temple. The punch is perfect. Textbook technique with bad intentions behind it. Tyson staggers sideways 3 steps and catches himself against a mailbox. Blood streams down the side of his face. His legs look unsteady. Lewis has hurt him badly. But here's what separates legends from everyone else. When hurt, when pushed beyond their normal limits, they find something extra. Something that shouldn't exist but does. Tyson pushes off the mailbox and fires back with the most vicious combination of his career. Not his professional career, his entire life. 3 punches thrown with the accuracy of a surgeon and the malice of someone fighting for their survival. The first punch is a short left hook to the body that doubles Lewis over. The second is an uppercut that catches Lewis coming down and snaps his head back so hard you can hear his neck pop. The third is a straight right hand that Lewis never sees coming. The right hand lands on Lewis's jaw with a sound like a baseball bat hitting a watermelon. Lewis's eyes go blank. His knees give out. He falls backward and hits the pavement hard. For a moment, the street is completely silent. Even the sirens seem to fade into the background. Lewis is down, motionless. Tyson stands over him, chest heaving, blood dripping from his face onto Lewis's shirt. This is the moment, the knockout, the definitive end that boxing fans would have paid $100 to see in an arena. except it's happening on a street corner at 1 in the morning with 40 witnesses and no official record. But then something happens that surprises everyone, including Tyson. Lewis's eyes flutter open. He looks up at Tyson and does something incredible. He laughs, not a bitter laugh or a defeated laugh, a genuine expression of appreciation for what just happened. "Hell of a right hand," Lewis says, making no move to get up. Tyson extends his hand. "Hell of a chin," he replies. Lewis takes the offered hand and Tyson helps him to his feet. Both men are swaying slightly. Both are cut and bruised and exhausted. But there's something different in their eyes now. The anger is gone. The hatred that brought them here has been beaten out of both of them. They fought each other to the edge of consciousness and found something they didn't expect. Respect. The sirens are 1 block away now. Flashing lights reflect off windows. But neither man seems concerned about the approaching police. They're both looking at the blood on the concrete. Their blood, mixed together in dark spots that will be gone by morning rain. "We settled?" Lewis asks, wiping blood from his split lip. "We're settled," Tyson confirms. The crowd starts to disperse as the police cars turn the corner. Some people run, others just walk away casually like nothing happened. The smart ones know that 40 witnesses won't agree on what they saw, and without video evidence, this becomes just another New York City story that nobody will believe. Lewis retrieves his jacket from one of his guys. It's wrinkled but not torn. He puts it on carefully, wincing when he raises his left arm, probably bruised ribs from those body shots. Tyson finds his t-shirt and pulls it over his head. The cotton sticks to the blood on his chest. He'll need stitches for the cut on his forehead, but it's nothing that won't heal. 2 police cars pull up to the curb. 4 officers get out, hands on their weapons but not drawing them. They approach cautiously, unsure what they're walking into. "Everything all right here?" the lead officer asks. Lewis and Tyson look at each other. Some form of silent communication passes between them. "Just a misunderstanding," Lewis says. "Got it sorted out. Anyone need medical attention?" another officer asks, clearly seeing the blood on both men. "We're fine," Tyson says. "Walked into the same door." The officers don't believe it, but they also don't have evidence of anything criminal. No one in the crowd is talking. The street's cleaned up except for some blood spots that could be from anything. "Maybe you gentlemen should call it a night," the lead officer suggests. "Already heading home," Lewis agrees. He turns to leave, then stops and looks back at Tyson. "Good fight," he says quietly. "See you around," Tyson replies. And that's it. The fight that boxing historians will never record. The confrontation that settled more than any official bout ever could. 6 months later, they met again in Las Vegas. Officially this time. Cameras, commentators, pay-per-view revenue. The whole circus that modern boxing has become. But everyone who watched that official fight noticed something strange. The usual pre-fight hostility was missing. The press conferences were respectful, almost polite. Sports writers couldn't understand why 2 men who supposedly hated each other were acting like old friends. What they didn't know was that Tyson and Lewis had already fought their real fight, on a street corner in New York, with no cameras and no money changing hands. They tested each other in the most honest way possible, and found something neither expected. The official fight was different, cleaner, more technical. Lewis won on points, just like everyone predicted he would. But after the final bell, when the cameras caught them embracing in the center of the ring, you could see something in their eyes that the commentators couldn't explain. Mutual respect earned through violence. The kind of bond that only exists between men who've pushed each other to their absolute limits and lived to tell about it. I ran into Tyson about a year after that. He was coming out of a restaurant in Manhattan, walking alone like he usually does. I asked him about the street fight, whether it really happened the way people said it did. He looked at me for a long moment, like he was deciding whether to acknowledge it at all. "Sometimes," he said, "the most important fights happen when nobody's keeping score." Then he walked away, disappearing into the crowd of people who had no idea they'd just passed one of the most dangerous men who ever lived. The funny thing is, if you go to that corner now, there's no sign that anything significant ever happened there. The street light was fixed. The fire hydrant was repainted. Even the bloodstains washed away after the first heavy rain. But the 40 people who were there that night carry the memory with them. They witnessed something that can't be replicated or staged or sold on pay-per-view. They saw 2 legends strip away everything artificial about modern boxing and settle their differences the way warriors have for thousands of years, with courage, with violence, and ultimately with respect. Lewis retired from boxing not long after their official bout. He'd proven everything he needed to prove. Tyson fought for a few more years, but something had changed in him too. The desperate hunger that drove him for decades was gone, replaced by something calmer but perhaps more dangerous: peace. The peace that comes when a man no longer has anything to prove to anyone, including himself. People ask me if I think that street fight really happened. If two millionaire athletes would really risk everything for a meaningless brawl on a New York sidewalk. Here's what I tell them. In a world where everything is manufactured and marketed and focus grouped to death, sometimes real moments still break through. Sometimes two human beings drop all pretense and settle things the way their grandfathers would have. Not for money, not for fame, not for any reason that makes sense to accountants or promoters or television executives. Just because some things in life are too important to leave unfinished. And sometimes, believe it or not, the most dangerous fights really do happen when nobody's watching. The newspaper clipping never existed. No reporter covered the story. No photographer captured the moment. In our digital age, when everything is documented and archived and stored in the cloud forever, 40 people witness something that exists only in their memories, which makes it more real than anything you'll ever see on television, because the things that matter most, the moments that actually change us, usually happen without an audience. They happen when we think nobody's looking, when there's nothing to gain except the knowledge of who we really are when everything else is stripped away. That night, on a street corner in New York, two men found out who they were, and in the process, they found something they didn't expect: each other.